I phoned a friend of mine up because he had just arrived back after several years in Thailand. A European fellow, intelligent, sophisticated, like most of my friends are. He invited me around to Bangkok, his place he's just rented. Well, I got there early. It was dark by that time because in Thailand it gets dark at the same time all year round, around about 6:30, I think. When I phoned him up, I told him I was outside his door, and he said he'd be there in the next 30 minutes, and for me to wait. Now he only told me this later, that he got straight onto the phone to his daughter, who was 14 at the time, and he told her not to open the door to me, not to answer the door, and appear as if the place was empty. So I did. I thought the place was empty. I waited patiently, and he turned up, and I got to meet the daughter. I saw her years before when she was 8 years of age. I was with my wife at the time. And a few days later, he then told me about what had happened, that he phoned his daughter and said, "Don't answer the door, he's a sex maniac." And being a writer, I thought I might as well write about this because it is a situation that plagues us. There are men out there who go around raping girls, mainly young girls. So as I started thinking about rape and the feelings that go on, the first thing what came to me was that I control my feelings. I don't go around raping girls because I control myself. But then I realised that wasn't true. I don't have to control anything. I don't get the feelings in the first place. It is true that I am highly sexed, but so are gay women. They're highly sexed, but they normally don't go around raping girls, do they? Unless it's a prison situation. And I realised that men who do rape, who can't accept no, or certain situations where you don't even try to chat the girl up, these men are experiencing things that I've never ever experienced. And then to try and understand their experiences, I started thinking about other people with other problems where they can't control themselves. Certain people out there, they constantly wash themselves, and yet their hands, their skin, it starts to dry out and starts to get chapped, and it hurts them because you get wounds breaking out there between the skin cells. And they know that they shouldn't do it, but they carry on doing it. They can't stop doing it. It's like a habit. I remember this boy once I saw. He was about 15 years of age, and I noticed he had this dry skin all around his mouth there. It was about ½ inch wide, going all the way around, and I was thinking, that's odd, I wonder how he got that. And as I watched him, suddenly his tongue came out and licked all the way around without him even thinking about it. Now, if he used his common sense, which he obviously wasn't, he would have realised what's going on and got some cream and put some cream around there, and maybe even covered the whole thing up with tape. So if he did try to lick, he would be licking the tape, not his skin. Or maybe some nasty tasting cream even to stop him. He just has to get out of the habit. But of course, I was thinking that we're probably talking a bit more than just a habit when it comes to certain situations such as rape. Those men who feel this very strong feeling. And of course, the rest of us, not me, but most people, they accuse these people of all sorts of things because they can't control their feelings. But then I started to think much wider situation where people can't control their feelings. Hence wars. People can't control their feelings. They can't say, okay, let's agree to disagree and not have a war. That doesn't happen, does it? And then if you listen to these characters who, let's say, not just rape, but torture girls to death. I say girls because mainly it's girls who are the victims of these people. And they torture these girls to death. And they tell us that they can't help it. These feelings are just so strong, they can't help it. And some of these men, they really are sorry for what they've done. And they tell you they couldn't stop themselves. And some of them even tell you, these people who are in prison, they tell you if they ever get out, they're going to go straight back and do it again. They can't stop themselves. So you start thinking about, well, I did anyway. You start thinking, well, and just a reminder, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. As you can see, I've got a change of clothes, but I thought I'd better finish off this video. So you start thinking about personal things, so you can get more of an insight to the whole situation of these violent people. And I've got an addiction towards sweets. I did manage to give up sweets a few years ago, and I gave it up for about a year, I think. But then I realised it's such suffering because every day of that year I was thinking about sweets. It was always there in the back of my mind, this pressure to go out and get some sweets. Then I thought to myself, why put myself through it? Why can't I have some sweets occasionally? Just cut it right down, which I have done. Because when I say sweets, of course, we're talking about cake and biscuits. I like to have some cake with my tea occasionally. Anyway, I realised how impossible it is to get rid of an addiction, whether it's a sexual addiction or, in my case, cake addiction. But they're both very strong. And then I've got a friend who, an acquaintance, neighbour, who's alcoholic. She's now in her 60s and she can't stop. She's been that way since the age of 30, I think. So when it comes to these people who go around raping and killing girls, even though they might be sorry for their actions, we've got to understand that they cannot stop what they're doing. And therefore, we've got to lock them away forever because they can't change. It's always there. Personally, not being a religious person, as I'm too intelligent for religion, I would say just put them all to death. What's the point of wasting money on these people? But unfortunately, the religious always step in and they quite often get these people released after 20 years. And of course, they're perfect in prison, these types. They never cause any trouble, non-violent in prison. It's only when they get out and they're alone with a girl does that other side of their nature come out. Unfortunately, I'm just one person speaking up against society who follow religious laws. Even though you don't go to church, you probably don't see yourself as religious, but really you are. You've been brought up in the West, following the religious laws without you realising it, and you see humans as special, so therefore you're not going to kill them off. But no, that's the way to go. And also we've got to realise if someone is attempted to murder someone, really they should be treated as a murderer, not attempted, because they wanted to kill that person. Or someone who kidnaps someone, we know that the chances are they're going to kill them at the end after having sex with them, so they should be treated as murderers. See, the problem is at the moment with our laws is that the people only get punished after they do the crime. But the trouble is it could be 50, 100 victims when it comes to these people, serial torturers, and only then they're caught. So no, we got to protect the victims, and religious people, we got to ignore them, because they're always, as I said, trying to give these people less time inside and saying, well, they didn't really mean it. Maybe it's true they didn't really mean it, but who gives a damn? I say, why waste money on them? Give them the death sentence. What do you think?